And we'll come back to regular. Chuck's not starting.
That's not good.
I like how it says this, but I changed that where it didn't say that.
I feel like it always says that though.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's being ridiculous.
Even sometimes say killing for 2 and stuff. It's like,
it is not, I know. Alright, what's up guys? Matt and Dustin here with you, and we are going to be doing, this is what I'm calling the segment of NFL Corner. And it's going to pretty much, we're going to do it all year round, and it's going to be covering everything going on in the NFL. It's going to probably pick up a little more when the draft comes, and maybe a little extra for when they do the combines. So right now there's not a whole bunch of news. We're just going to go into covering like, you know, the awards, the Hall of Fame, and inductees, and pretty much just like our predictions on the game, the big game tomorrow, which Philly's going to win.
hell yeah.
All right, so we'll start off with the big ones. Tom Brady, of course, everybody should know because they've been talking about it the last 2 weeks, is the MVP of 2017. It's his 3rd time winning it in his career, and it's also makes him the oldest person to win the MVP. I was kind of disappointed with it. I felt like maybe it was just already a shoo-in because, like I said, people have been talking about it pretty much all year.
And unfortunately, quarterbacks always have the edge. It seems like doesn't matter how good the running back is.
Right, because we were discussing before we started that somebody like Todd Gurley or Kareem Hunt should have won it because, you know, I think it takes more skill, I think, for that position. And Kareem Hunt came into this year as a rookie, and he led the rushers. So I mean, what's more impressive, that or a guy who started off, I think, the first 3 or 4 weeks like horrible, and he comes in and throws a couple passes and he gets it, which I think, I don't know. In my opinion, it should have been a running back.
Yep.
Very disappointing in it, but you know, that's the NFL for you. Maybe the XFL will be a little different. And of course, J.J. Watt was named the Walter Payton Man of the Year, and his contribution for that was he raised over $37 million for anybody affected by Hurricane Harvey. So I think that there was a lot of good candidates this year. A lot of people who started giving back to their community and raising money for different type of programs. But I think as soon as I heard that J.J. Watt made that much money, I was kind of already thinking that he's going to win the Walter Payton Award because, you know, not only did he raise the money, but he also, him and his staff dispersed the money, as well as he helped clean up the city of, was it Houston?
Yeah.
Yeah, Houston. All right, guys. Sean McVay of the Los Angeles Rams won the Coach of the Year, which I think could have been a debate between him and, of course, Doug Peterson, and I'm not playing favorites on it. But Doug Peterson also took a team that was
not supposed to be 8-8, is what everyone said. Didn't worry about them, and they finished top in this season. I mean,
and they're in the Super Bowl. I think that honestly should have won the Coach of the Year for it, but I don't know when it's predetermined. I don't know when they decide on the people who win. Could be like, you know, a couple weeks ago, but still, it's more impressive, I think.
Well, especially when they made it with their backup quarterback that they took out of the power rankings the second their starter got injured.
Yeah.
Such crap, I mean.
Because nobody gave him a shot after Wentz went down.
Nope, not one person.
That's why they are the underdogs. Because everybody thinks that they can't do it. All right, Keenan Allen from San Diego won the 2007 Comeback Player of the Year award. I didn't really follow too much on Keenan Allen.
I appreciate it.
But apparently he was having a rough go at it. This could have gone to Tom Brady. Probably should have. Because he was, if you guys watched any of the Patriot games at the beginning of the season, he was just horrendous. And, they can blame it on people missing all they want. He was missing throws was the big thing. All right, guys. Alvin Kamara, the running back for New Orleans Saints, he won the Pepsi Rookie of the Year. I actually agree with this one because Kamara was a beast on the field this year. Whereas Kareem Hunt racked up yards. But, if you watch a lot of Kamara games, Kamara did it through stiff arming and, bulldozing people, which was very impressive. So, that's one I actually agree with. Now let's go to the FedEx Air and Ground. We'll start with the ground first. Todd Gurley won the ground, and yet again, I agree with it because I think Gurley should have outright won MVP with his performance this year. He had a lot of impressive plays.
Yeah.
So, at least he won the FedEx ground. He at least got an award and acknowledgement for everything he did this season. Carson Wentz from Philadelphia, injured and all, he won the FedEx Air. So that's kind of saying a lot whenever a guy who gets injured, I think in week 12?
I believe week 12, yeah.
Week 12 wins the award for the Air. And if he wouldn't have been injured, I believe he would have took the MVP. Because he had an impressive quarterback rating, and he had, I think, his touchdown to interception ratio was I don't think he had an interception.
No, I think he did.
Did he?
I think so, but not very many.
Yeah, it was more impressive than I can tell you what Brady did. All right, and no, I'm not saying it because I hate the Patriots. It's just my opinions. So if there's any Patriot fans watching, calm it down. You can be mad at Matt because he's going off of his hatred for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Can't blame you, though. Everybody hates the Patriots.
Get the refs.
Right? The refs love them. So does Goodell. Okay, Aaron Arnold for the defensive tackle for the Rams won the AP Defensive Player of the Year. I can't argue it. Their defense was pretty top notch. I would prefer rather to see Philly win everything because I think they have the best team in the league this year, which a lot of people won't agree to because they say that Minnesota's defense is better.
Some ways, but I gotta go with Phillies. I dropped Minnesota's defense in fantasy and picked up Phillies.
I bet the point spread was a lot better. All right. Andre Roberts with the Falcons, a wide receiver, was the salute to service. So that's the USAA determines that one, and they felt he was the best representative that I guess paid tribute to the troops best. Yeah. I think is what it's for. So, boom, that's one less down. Let's check this again. All right, so we got Alvin Kamara bringing in another award. He got AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. So the first one was Pepsi. This one's the AP. Well deserved, man. If the Saints can hold on to you and give you a franchise tag, I would do that. I would let Breeze go to keep Kamara. I would too. Overall, honestly, because Breeze is coming to the end of his career, like Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger. Yep. Can't wait till those guys are gone. Yep. So excited for that day. And again, Todd Gurley won the AP Offensive Player of the Year. Sam Gordon was the Game Changer Award this year. I can see that. And of course, Big Green, Philadelphia Eagle, got the Offensive Line of the Year. And I think it really showed with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
He was given plenty of time to make passes, and when he got rushed, It wasn't very often.
Not very often at all.
But it's usually when they're playing a good stout defense. Luke Kuechly. Is that how that's right?
I think
Kuechly. Linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, won the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. Not a lot of people were probably in the running for that this year because there was not a lot of sportsmanship, in my opinion. And they probably have to. They probably have to nominate a certain amount of people. But when you get guys hitting each other for stupid stuff, I guess we could nominate Crabtree and the guy from Denver who got in a fist fight, right? There's so many fist fights this year. I think it was
or AJ Green and the guy from the Panthers.
Yeah. It wasn't Luke Kuechly though, because he won it. All right, Pat Shurmur, the offensive coordinator for Minnesota, got the assistant coaching award.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean that team, the Vikings, they are a stout team. I'm not gonna say they aren't. They have a really well-built team, but I think there's a lot of favorites and analysts who went with Minnesota.
Yeah,
because they wanted to see Minnesota play
in
Super Bowl in Minnesota. When you get to next year, I bet you they won't be as high on people's list as what they are this year. Because watching the power rankings.
Yeah.
And you see Minnesota hanging around number 2, and they keep dropping like Philadelphia down to 4 or 5, especially when Wentz went down. And it's like
bringing in the Panthers. I mean, come on.
It's like, come on, guys, you gotta give a little more props to Philly on that. But that's also what kind of motivates them to get up and keep going. All right, Drew Brees, quarterback Saints, is the Castrol Edge Clutch Performer of the Year.
I can see that.
He's always a clutch player.
Always clutch.
Yeah. All right, and of course, we'll finish it off with the Bridgestone Elite Performance Play. I'll give it to it for this one, just because it helped Minnesota stay in the playoffs. It was the Minnesota Miracle, where I think it was a pass to Diggs, where the Saints guy just totally missed him on the catch, and he took off to the house and
not only missed him, but ran into his other player as he missed him.
And so that knocked the Saints out, put Minnesota in, and thus saying, "Oh, Minnesota's going to go to the Super Bowl and win it." Nobody could stop them until they went against Philadelphia, lost 38-7. All right, guys, so let's get to some of the. No, I got a little more. Okay. Rob Garrett, this was a Don Shula NFL High School Coach of the Year. Rob Garrett from Crenshaw High School. You won that. Apparently, your school was dominant in the high school division. And all right. And Deshaun Watson, quarterback for the Texans, got the greatness on the road. So I'm taking it, his stats on the road. I'm guessing it's, putting two pieces together.
Right.
Is what got him that. So I haven't seen the stats of everybody, so I didn't pay that close attention this year. I was watching a little NHL because I got tired. I was Minnesota. I was a Miami Dolphin fan for a lot of the year, and then I followed Jay and Johnny. Yes. All right. So in the news aspect, Larry Fitzgerald Sr. was interviewed on XM Sirius Radio, and he said that if his son returns to the NFL for his 15th season, it's going to be with Arizona, no other team.
Respect.
I respect that. I mean, because he could easily say, "No, I want out. Let me go to the Patriots. I'm gonna win a Super Bowl." But he wants to stay with the team that made him.
Just like Megatron, same with the Lions. I mean, I respect that.
Yeah, not a lot of people do it. A lot of people go for the money. They'll say they'll stay there for the team, but as soon as the money factor comes in, great example, Golden Tate. Before we get back into that, guys, let me do the Hall of Fame 2018 also. Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Philadelphia's very own Brian Dawkins.
Makes sense.
Ryan Urlacher, Ray Lewis, Bobby Bethard. Excuse me if the pronunciation is wrong on these next two guys. But Robert Brazil and Jerry Kramer. I want to combine the two names. Those are your 2018 Hall of Famers. You'll see them at the Super Bowl because I believe they do a special presentation.
I think so, yeah.
And of course, your halftime is going to be Justin Timberlake, so make sure you tune in for that one. I probably won't because he said he firmly supports Tom Brady. So that's like saying you work at PETA and you support somebody who beats animals. I mean, sorry, Justin Timberlake, you slid down the pool of coolness for me. Colin Kaepernick, I don't know if you heard this, filed a grievance with the NFL Association back in October for the collective bargaining agreement. He alleges there is collusion that kept him out of the NFL this year, that no team would hire him, instead of owning up to the fact that he was throwing a temper tantrum on the field and what he considers the sitting cause. He wasn't doing it, in my opinion, he was not doing it for everything he said he was. He was doing it because of other outside reasons. And I think his PR manager told him that, well, you need to do something because you made yourself look bad when Russell Wilson beat you horribly. I think Colin Kaepernick's career is done. I don't think any other team will hire him. And Roger Goodell said that he supports the owners full outright. That he said it is up to the owners and the teams to decide who they hire, who they have on their roster.
Yep.
And that's, if there's anything good Roger Goodell does, it's that. That he will say, hey, sorry guys, I'm reading that. The cute. Well, thank you, Samantha Hogan. Justin Timberlake was funny on SNL, I'll give you that, but he is a firm supporter of Tom Brady, so that takes it down quite a bit. So, all right, so that will be it for Colin Kaepernick, because unless he goes, I don't even think the CFL will take him.
Probably not. Stupid they did.
Maybe he'll make it into the XFL in 2020.
Vince would take him.
Oh, yeah, just to have him get beaten up.
Yeah.
And on some other news, Roger Goodell thinks the catch rule needs to be, quote-unquote, burnt down and rebuilt. He thinks that adding to it or subtracting from it is just going to make it even more controversial, which I actually happen to agree with Goodell. I don't think it's something you can change. It's still going to be crap the way it is. I think they need to go through and simplify it.
I agree.
They had, I think 15 Hall of Fame wide receivers sit in a room 2 weeks ago and review every controversial catch that happened this year. And even they were scratching their heads going, I don't know.
Yeah.
So hopefully the NFL doesn't see it happening, but at least it's good to know that he sees the fault in it.
I agree with that.
On some cool news, the Chiefs and the Rams, they're the team that's going to play Mexico City next year. So it won't be two crap teams like when they send them over to London. I feel bad for those guys.
I think Philly goes to London next year.
Oh, see, you get a good team next year, London.
Those London games are horse crap, though, man. It's just not fair to the players.
Oh, it's not.
Not at all. And
It's
they
not.
should get a bye week, at least after they go to London, they should get a bye week.
It'd be nice if they can get it before, so that we can get over there plenty of time, get rested, get kind of acclimated.
Yep.
But when you play, especially if you play on a Monday and you get flown over for a Thursday game, there's no way your team's going to perform.
Thursday games again are crap too. I mean,
make it a Friday night game. Dude, a lot of people don't work weekends. Even the people who do would stay up a little later to watch a Friday night game.
Yeah.
And there's not usually a lot going on these days on Friday nights.
Yeah, not usually.
Since TGIF, which if you're like a 90s baby, you know what TGIF is, where all the good shows were, they don't have it anymore. And all the good shows this day and age are like Monday through Thursday.
Usually.
All right. Aaron Williams, are you familiar with the defensive tackle for Buffalo?
Nope.
And I wasn't either. But I figure it was newsworthy because he announced his retirement today. Or not today, but sometime this week. So, Devontae Freeman, we talked about this off camera, but the running back for the Falcons finished his season with a sprained MCL and PCL in his right knee. He elected to not do the surgery and to naturally heal it, and he said he should be ready by OTAs. He's not going to really push himself hard in the offseason. I have heard of natural healing where it's 50-50. So if everything goes right, he'll be good. But if not, he'll have put it off for X amount of time and he'll miss his season. Because if you do knee surgery, especially if you're a running back, that's your season right there. So
sometimes your career.
Yeah, sometimes your career. That's right. If you look at a lot of professional wrestlers who have knee surgeries, Rey Mysterio back in the 90s. I think twice put off knee surgery, and he ended up having to get it done anyways. So if you're gonna have to get it done anyways, do it early, do it ahead of time. Yeah, you might miss part of the season next year, but part of the season is better than the whole season or ending your career. All right. Let's go before we wrap up. Alex Smith to the Redskins, and a lot of you know. Some of you who don't know, he got signed to, I think it was like a $70 million contract.
Something crazy, yeah.
Which means for all you Kirk Cousins fans, he's getting shipped off. The possible teams that the NFL put together that he could go to are Denver, the Jets, the Cardinals, the Browns,
probably not Browns,
the Bills, the Vikings, and the Jaguars. Right at the bat, I'm going to scratch out the Browns and the Vikings.
I wouldn't scratch the Vikings just yet.
I think they'll keep Keenum.
I think it's their offensive coordinator's last year, and he wants to follow their offensive coordinator if he leaves.
Oh, wow. Well,
so it all depends on that. So I can easily see him go to the Vikings.
Yeah, the Browns already have a quarterback who wants to play with them.
Yep.
They have a guy coming from the draft who already declared he wants to go to the Browns and no other team, which I think it's the quarterback for, Oklahoma. And he's a guy who has a lot of off-the-field trouble. So if they anybody who drafts him are going to be dealing with a Manziel issue. Yep. So I don't know. Tyrod Taylor made it a point to say he will not restructure his contract. For a lot of people who don't know, it was really quiet. The 2017 season, the one where they sat him for a game and the guy came in for a quarter and threw, 7 interceptions?
Like 7 interceptions, yeah.
He was guaranteed $30.75 million this last season, but he agreed to a pay cut for the betterment of the team. And they sat him because they blamed him for guys dropping the ball, for the offense not doing their job. I watched a decent amount of Tyrod Taylor this year, and a lot of it was not his fault. A lot of it was the team fault.
He's a legit quarterback that does not have receivers. I mean, it's like Philly last year. You have a good quarterback without the receivers.
Yep.
And when McCoy was healthy, that's how they won. Because he was the only one that could do anything, unfortunately. Taylor's good. Don't have the hands. And
no, I mean, I don't think they really. Yeah, they don't. I can't think of a receiver who jumps out to me that plays on that Buffalo Bills team.
I can't.
Which is sad because
I like the Bills.
Yeah, I like the Bills, even though they were in Miami's league or division. But God, yeah, I was rooting for them to beat out New England so bad. And they barely. Let's face it, guys. They barely got into the playoffs this year. And the big controversy with that is the whole benching Tyrod for the game. If they wouldn't have had that loss, the record would have been one better, and it would have, I think, put them out of the wild card and into contention. And so it was a really cool moment whenever that lineman got the ball and got the touchdown. If you guys saw that, it was really cool because they had like a clip. After they had won it, and he was in the locker room, he brought his 2 sons with him. It was very emotional, very cool, and you just wanted them to win and go all the way. But then again, they were gonna have to play against New England or Pittsburgh, and in playoff time, those two are a good team. They're good teams.
Yep.
On the other side of the news factor, they reported that both the Eagles and the Patriots were fully recovered from this flu cold epidemic that hit them when they got into town. But I saw something on the NFL app on the Eagles page, and it was towards the top, so I don't know how recent it was. But God, who was Philadelphia's main receiver? Aguilar had to have IVs.
Yep, they said they gave him IVs. Sounds like he was feeling better last I read.
That's good. Yeah, they said that Philadelphia's medical staff was like on top of the ball, and they are the reason that the team is doing a lot better. So hats off to them, because I don't want to see Philadelphia go in there beaten up, sick, and squashed by the Patriots. I really don't. I want to see the other way around. Well, I want to see two healthy teams. I want to see Philadelphia cram it down all these people's throats saying that Philadelphia can't win.
Yeah, I want them to win. Redemption for the 2005 Super Bowl. Yep. Where the Patriots did spike it. Newsflash.
Yep. I agree. I want them to win. I think Philadelphia needs it more. That means Philadelphia will get it. Yep. Patriots don't need it. Patriots want it. Philadelphia needs it.
Yes.
And of course, for all you wonderful Patriots fans, Gronk is cleared for the Super Bowl, which I was kind of bummed at.
Yeah.
Because some people won't like to admit it, but when he's on the field, that's Brady's number one target. And their third down conversion with Gronk on the field is exceptionally well higher than if he's not on the field. Oh, all right. And I don't know if you heard, Matt, but the Ravens GM, Ozzie Newsome, is going to step down after the end of the 2018 season.
Ravens.
And then Eric DeCosta, who is the assistant GM right now, will be taking over.
Okay.
So, and he is the one who they claim to have started the Ravens era. You know, like when they won the Super Bowl. Of course, Ryan Shazier, this is good news. I think you guys will enjoy. Ryan Shazier was officially discharged from the UPMC. And it's the rehab institute he was going to, and he's going to be in an outpatient form and it's through a different branch of the rehab. But it's great to hear that he was cleared and released from it. For people who didn't see it, man, it was horrible to see him get carted off the field on that play. It was great to see him. It was great to see him support the Steelers throughout the games. I mean, this guy was hurt, and he was at games with what did they call their yellow towels? The rally towels?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Terrible towels?
Terrible towels. That's right.
Yeah, not a Steelers fan.
They're okay.
Unfortunately, you can see why someone like them.
Yeah. Trying to stay a little biased. Try to do it news person style, right? Any news from you, sir? If for anybody who will scoot over, so you guys can get in the shop.
Oh, the cam action. That's awesome. It's working for you?
Well, it's just this one right here.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, I can't get that one.
Shoot.
So, if you want to scoot over a little bit, make sure your face is in. Even Maddie could get in on it.
Might have to lean over and give Matt a little kiss. That looks like there must be some lag.
Yeah, it's like a 10 to 15
almost
seconds.
exactly 10 seconds. Right there.
Any news on your end, sir?
Oh. Work sucks.
We went over all the award winners from tonight. Went through.
Yeah, I haven't even heard any of that.
Heard all the Hall of Famers who got announced.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
still ticks me off.
I'm happy Brian Dawkins got him.
Definitely deserved it.
Brian Urlacher,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Really
he deserved it.
Randy Moss deserved
No,
it.
I'm not saying any one of those guys didn't deserve it.
No, yeah,
I'm saying
no,
the
yeah.
NFL, I think, has either a race issue or a Raider issue because you got two Hispanic Americans that should be in and still aren't. I mean, they waited till Ken Stabler died before they put him in.
Yeah.
Which irks me.
There was a guy on the list who was waiting for a while too. I can't remember who it was. Was it Bob? I think it was Bobby Bethard, right?
Mm-mm.
No.
No,
Frieza? I can't pronounce that name.
Man, after today, why am I having a brain fart? Come on, God, you gave me such a crappy day. Don't let me have a brain fart. No, not George Blanda.
Wait.
Who the heck was it?
You look at the camera and wave. Say hi, Grandma. I think she's watching.
We won 2 Super Bowls with the Raiders. I can't think of his freaking name. He's my second favorite quarterback.
Snake?
No, Snake's number 1.
Which Gannon?
Nah, he's like 3, 4. No, he's like 4. Blanda's 3.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Daggum. Tom Flores is the head coach. He should be in.
Yeah, what's to
They made a big deal. Was it last year or year before about who's the Colts coach that got in? Not Herm Edwards, but
No.
Tony Dungy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, guy wins 1 Super Bowl. No thanks. And he's a minority, and I get that, and that's cool. And I love the fact he's Christian and really open about it, and that's great. But won 1 Super Bowl, and you got a guy.
Bob's mom.
Bob's mom.
That was a shout out from Samantha Hogan.
Won 2 Super Bowls with the Raiders. Took over for Al Davis. Al Davis won a Super Bowl, retired right boom there. Tom Flores took over, kept him going. Won 2 Super Bowls after they moved to LA. Beat the Redskins and Eagles.
That's not a
And
place in New Jersey. That will not fly the Miami Dolphins logo any longer.
yeah, it's like he's
NFL.
2 Super. He's actually got 4 Super Bowl rings. He's got 2 as the head coach of the Raiders.
Camera's watching you. You gotta be a good girl.
1 as a backup quarterback, and I think 1 as an assistant coach. If I remember correctly, I might be off on
It's
that.
a cursive E.
And then you got his quarterback, who I can't think of his name. It's like a big brain fart right now. Might have to look that up.
Any news on your end, sir? I didn't cover a lot of the AFC news. I did a little bit. But,
Yeah, I haven't even paid attention to news. I know there was a lot going on today. What?
I see you have
What is
some papers, so.
National Football League. What's that?
I see you got some papers, so if you want to go over.
Oh, yeah.
what you got.
Oh, I just kind of ran some, did a little digging. And basically for both Eagles and Patriots, and I mean the 13-3 record actually it's kind of the tip of the iceberg for how close their seasons really were.
Oh wow, yeah.
And the Eagles were 7-1 at home and 6-2 on the road. Patriots were 6-2 at home and 7-1 on the road. So
Oh wow.
both were 10-2 in their conference. Patriots put up 458 points, and their defense allowed 296 points. Eagles put up 457 points, only 1 less than the Patriots, and allowed 295 points, 1 less than the Patriots. They both lost to the Chiefs. Of course, Eagles didn't have a meltdown like the Patriots, but still lost. And they both have 1 loss from somebody in their conference. The Eagles lost at the end of the season 6-0 Cowboys, and
They're secondary and third.
Patriots lost to the. Yeah, I was gonna say they were resting starters by that point. About the only starter they weren't resting was Foles because they were trying to break the rust off.
Yep.
Good idea. Patriots lost the Dolphins 27-20. That was later in the season, but they weren't resting starters by that point. But that's the thing. Dolphins usually get them. If the Dolphins play the Patriots at the end of the season in Miami, they usually beat them.
There's been only a couple years where they lost both rounds to the Patriots.
Yeah.
But usually, Patriots win first, Dolphins win second.
All right, Bills win first. Patriots win second.
And it's not news, but have you seen Ryan Tannehill's fight? It's because he got the money.
You seen Ertz's way?
Yeah.
That's pretty much about where all that stops, though. I mean, offensively, they're both top-notch. Defensively, I was actually shocked. The Patriots, I knew they started off bad, but they had a horrible defense.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
30th in passing yards, 20th in rushing yards, 29th in total yards.
But yet they say Patricia is like a genius on defense. But if you look at the stats,
yeah, especially with Bill Belichick. I mean,
would you attribute the stats being so bad to Patricia and his schemes, or from the players?
I think at the end of the day, Belichick has final say.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
If he, as a matter of fact, he's been known if he doesn't agree with play calling, he will take it away from his defensive coordinator, and usually outs them right after the season. But
what do you guys think about Patricia going to Detroit?
I think they should have stuck with Caldwell personally.
I do as well.
I think he had them turned around and was doing good. Yeah, they missed the playoffs this year, but
I think give him a couple more years, honestly.
They should have. I think they really should have.
As much as I love Matt Stafford and I want Detroit to do really well, I think Matt Stafford is going to be like an Alex Smith in his career. He's going to get playoffs.
I think more Tony Romo, because he can sling the ball. And Romo, I don't like the Cowboys, not a Romo fan. Romo can sling the ball, but playoffs, jokes.
That's when you find out who is a elite quarterback. Because when they get to the playoffs and they actually shine.
Not right now.
I was going to ask you something else. Your opinions, sir, on Alex Smith going to the Redskins, making $70 million.
That really blew my mind. Like, I honestly thought,
after what he did,
I knew he wasn't going to be with the Chiefs. I didn't know, but I had a very strong inkling Chiefs weren't going to stick around for him, even though
they kind of hinted it for the playoffs, didn't they?
Everybody was, but the Chiefs were playing the PG. Okay, we're buddies. Yeah, blah blah blah. Throughout the entire season, but even before the season started, there was talk about he won't be around next season. They think they might pull him sometime during this season, see what Mahomes can do in the regular season against actual starters. And it was a matter of time, and I just thought they would have done something when the offseason started. The season's technically not over until tomorrow night, basically. Well, actually, I think the league year officially ends right at the beginning of March. But yeah, that blew my mind. I don't know. He'll be okay for him.
Sounds like Denver really wants him.
Denver?
Yeah, they have a bunch of players who are posting for him. I think Elway is in love with him.
Oh, they might go after Kirk Cousins now because they're not going to sign him.
Oh, I think it's stupid not to.
Well, Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk Cousins is an elite quarterback. He doesn't deserve the money he's asking for. He's the quarterback that you plug in. You have to put talent around him, and then he can elevate the talent. But if you put average Joe in the slot, average Bill you put average guys around him, he doesn't elevate.
I would take Cousins over Smith any day, though.
I'd take Cousins over freaking Tannehill any day. What do you guys have you heard of the news about Le'Veon Bell said he wants guaranteed money? Otherwise, he won't be a Pittsburgh.
I heard a little bit about that.
He won't settle for $30 million either.
They're all saying that nowadays, though. I mean, that's
because people are getting that.
I think the CBA is going to end up, I think it runs up like 2021, 2022-ish. I'm kind of thinking by 2020. If I remember correctly, I actually read an article this year where the player reps for the union were telling people to save money now because about 2028, I think is when it was. It was before the CBA's up. They were going to do a walkout and lockout. So I don't think the CBA is going to make it to its expiration. And quite frankly, both sides of it I see. It was crappy. It was sloppily done. Be interesting now. The Gruden's back in the head coaching game.
Yeah.
They're going to change up because he's completely against this whole crap with all these rules and everything for just practicing and training camps, and he's completely against it. So be interesting because he's going to have a voice.
Yeah. What's the thoughts on Eli? I read an article saying that he was treated like Charlie Brown in the league this year from the Giants.
Yeah.
Do you think he stays?
Yeah.
With the new what is it? The new coach, and then they get a new GM?
Pat Shurmur is the new coach. I don't like Pat Shurmur as a coach.
Do you see him potentially maybe asking for his release and going down to Jacksonville?
No, he's.
I think he'll retire Giant.
I had read I was gonna say I read actually on one of my breaks today when I had a minute, where I wasn't playing Words with Friends. There was a headline about Eli Manning wants to prove the new regime basically right for keeping him. So I think he wants to stay there and retire. I don't think he's gonna make it till 40.
No.
You know, maybe 2 more years. But
So that brings up the question of drafting. When do you?
Oh, I think they're gonna draft somebody this year.
When do you put in the new guy over Eli? If he potentially sticks around for 2 more years. If you get him this year, would he kind of be put as a starter role-ish next year, or at least play?
I would think next year.
So you
unless
think
there's
Eli?
a major injury and they have to push him in, but I think next year. I think they'll do the.
So you think if they do that, you think Eli will stick around still at New York, or will he want to go try to play 1 more year like his brother?
I think he's retired.
I think he'll stay Giant. I think. Unless he's really headstrong about thinking that he can actually still play, but I don't think he. That's where Peyton was Peyton was very headstrong on, I can still play, I can still play. And, the first year in Denver, he really slung the ball really well. Yep. I mean, they broke all sorts of records, but it caught up to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what Peyton was going for, is the record breaking. Eli's not really close to breaking those records.
No. The only thing he had, and they killed that and ticked off the Giants fans, was his longevity. He had
so many starts in a row.
Yeah.
215 starts in a row.
Yeah, is that what it was? I know it was over 200,
but the thing is, the Giants didn't kill it. Eli did, which I applaud Eli for, because he's like, I'm not looking at that record. He's like, if you're not going to start me from whistle to whistle, I don't want to start.
Yeah, you can throw the garbage, it's fine.
And I have immense respect for him, because how many people would go, yeah, okay, I want to keep this record, or I want to set the record.
Yeah.
And he
a lot of people would any sports.
Eli made a lot of, the past couple of years have made a lot of bonehead throws. Like if you remember the one, I think it was last season where he went to throw it out of bounds past the goal line, and it got intercepted. And I'm like, what? But so I guess the next topic I want to discuss with you guys, I was hoping you'd get here so we can do some discussion. As long as you're up for that, we can still have one more time.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Of course, let's say, you can use the padding. Which you vaguely talked about, Clint, was the Raiders' new head coach, Chucky. Everybody is saying that he is out of the game. That he's been gone for so long, he doesn't know this, and the rules, and they don't know how he's going to do. But then you got the smart people who have brought up the fact that he's been out of the game. He's been out of coaching for 9 years, but he has visited every coach, every GM.
Oh, he's got an office set up. FHCC, Fired Head Coaching. Maybe it's FHCA, Fired Head Coach Association. He's literally got buildings set up down there, and it's not just for fired head coaches. All head coaches any offseason go down, and they'll spend a couple weeks there, I guess.
I like how it works with players.
So yeah,
what is it, the Gruden camp?
Fights for his
Yeah, the Gruden
team
camp.
too.
yeah.
I mean, you never see a more passionate guy yelling on the sidelines for his team.
That's why you got the name Chucky, is because you'd see him on the
Because when
sideline.
he gets ticked off.
Still does, I bet.
Even when they're winning, he's
Holy
ticked
crap, you
off.
should have seen his press conference. Like, I watched that, which was tough because I went into school with Madison that day, so it's like I bought some headphones and kind of stuck one in my ear and would pull it out occasionally. It's like, he just looked ticked, like he was ready to go.
I don't like the fact that a lot of people look down on him because, he was doing good with Oakland, and then he got traded over to Tampa, won the Super Bowl that year, and then his track record was not great after the Super Bowl. It was okay.
Still did pretty good for a few seasons, but
everybody looks down on it, and they think that he's... I'm not going to say a lot of people, and I hate to use the word because I, honestly, in my personal opinion, don't believe he's overrated at all. I think he is underrated, if anything. I think he's one of the smartest coaches to ever hit the NFL.
I agree with that.
I would even rank him up there with like a Madden or a Lombardi.
I mean, Carson Wentz learned a lot of his stuff from a John Gruden training camp.
Yeah,
That's the reason why he's so good.
Russell Wilson.
A lot of those guys, yeah. Pretty much every quarterback's been drafted for the last 6 years, 7. I mean, because that show's been going for a while, and it's not just hey, let's see what you got. He does a lot of stuff behind the scenes where he coaches them up. It's like, you're doing this wrong with your feet. It's like, release up here, not down here. Don't sidearm.
Don't run the ball holding out. Keep it tucked in.
Yeah, I would have. So I mean, pretty much every quarterback has been drafted in the NFL for the last 6, 7, whatever years that show's been going. He's coached every single one of them. He knows and every single one that he's coached, he's done hours and hours of meticulous research on with college tape, stats. I mean, he knows every single quarterback. It's kind of a scary thought.
To have heard his discussion with Russell Wilson on that game where he was getting tackled, and so he put his ball hand with the ball on the ground to catch his balance. And when he was getting slung down, he threw it, and it was behind him. I would have loved to hear the conversation with Gruden after that, because this year he has lost all the knowledge Gruden gave him. And I'm not putting it on Wilson. I'm putting it on that Seattle line.
Yeah.
But when you're making the snap decisions like that, that is going on the quarterback. That is going on you just throwing everything you learned out the window.
And basically, Seattle just told him, it's like, hey, you're going to be playing some schoolyard football, do your best Fran Tarkington impressions, because we're not putting money into the offensive line to try to save you and your season and your career.
Apparently, though, they're going to try to this offseason.
Oh, I think so. Which is funny because they fired Tom Cable.
Yep.
And he went back to the Raiders. Marshawn Lynch had the funniest freaking comment I ever heard. Somebody when he was still in Seattle and they had hired him, they asked him about having Tom Cable there. It's like, hey, I'm from Oakland. That's my team. I heard he punched some dude out. It's like, I want that guy on my team coaching.
I think it's funny how
he's a good offensive line coach. I still think the guy they have, Mike Tyson's better, but
I just think it's funny how I'm going to say the word, and hopefully if any Seattle fans are watching, you just kind of take it for what it's worth. They're butthurt at Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, they all are.
They hate him now because he went to Oakland because he quote unquote stabbed Seattle in the back when it was made very, very well apparent that last year he was with them. He wanted to go to Oakland. He wanted out, but who's their head coach? I can't remember.
For the Raiders?
No, for Seattle.
Oh, Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll wouldn't let him. So he retired so
Pete Carroll and John Schneider
could get to the point where he could go to Oakland.
They still had to sign off
Oakland
on it, though, because they still had his contract for like 2 or 3 more years. Yeah. But
you Seattle fans are getting to see the result of what Pete Carroll is really all about. Gets rid of all your good offensive line to pay for mediocre players and pay them well.
Gets rid of key defensive players that made people like Richard Sherman look good because he was covering the number 2 receivers.
Oh, I was gonna say, from what I've read, it sounds like they might be cutting ways with Sherman and Bennett and
That's what I heard.
Yeah, a few other people.
Off for their tight end.
But
that's what
yeah, I think
Baldwin.
they've got to create salary cap, and they don't have it.
Well, a couple weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and this is what I'm telling people. They don't believe me when I say you can kiss Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor goodbye because Pete Carroll went on record and said that with the injuries they had, they will never be the same players. That right there is a kiss of death for you on that team.
Well, it was like Darrelle Revis. He was, except for that partial season with Tampa Bay, where he left the Jets for the money. Didn't play very good. I think that's when he got cut, went to the Patriots, played for them for a couple years, won a Super Bowl. Went back to the Jets, but he got injured, and he was just never the same. I mean, he was okay in the Patriots defense, but they have all sorts of schemes. I mean, he didn't have to be 22-year-old stud anymore. He's a little older, banged up. Did fantastic.
And that's like Richard Sherman, if they're saying that he's not going to be as good as what he was, so what, he's going to cover like 3rd and 4th stringers? Is that all you're going to bring him in for? I mean, that's personally what I think he can cover now. But I think you guys have heard me say it long enough. I thought he was trash from the very beginning.
Yep.
Because he was out there saying that he's better than a Darrelle Revis, or that he was the best quarterback in the league, and he's covering the secondary receiver, not covering the guys who are making the money.
He's covering like the right side of the field, and didn't take long before the opposing team started figuring that out. And they'd stick their second and third guys, wide receivers over there.
Yep. And he would get burnt. Remember, like I think last season is when they started flipping him, put him on left.
Yeah, last season is when they started,
and he got burned big time. And I'm just going, Seattle, I told you, you didn't want to believe me, and he still don't believe it. They still think he's like one of the best.
You don't see very many Sherman jerseys anymore.
Nope. All right, guys. So I know Matt's got to get going. So we're gonna do what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover our thoughts, our predictions, and our point spread for the game tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
I'll start with the Oakland guy himself. And who you're going for? I mean, it's obvious.
Oh, I'm going for the Eagles. I'm a University of Arizona Wildcats fan, and yeah, Gronk is a tight end on the Patriots, but
they produced the.
I don't know. I think he's gotten a big head. Stardom blew his head up, and I don't know. It wasn't the same kid I remember watching when he was playing for the Wildcats. Still got a lot of talent. I'm not going to take that away from him, but Nick Foles, I mean, that guy was. God, I love watching him. He could sling the ball like anybody. I mean, they should have done much better when they had him, but they didn't. Crap. I just think I want the Eagles to win, but I just think the Patriots are going to end up doing it. I think some way or another they're going to do something, or some kind of controversy is going to come out of something, and
catch rule going to come into play.
Probably.
So, oh yeah, more than likely.
Point spread?
I don't know, maybe 21, 28, 24, 28. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Hogan, you're up. Sir.
I'll say it all depends on Nick Foles, right? So if he can play good, he's always an up and down quarterback. Eagles will win. The defense, I think, is going to be a huge key and probably going to carry them most of the way. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 27-17, Eagles win by 10.
Oh, I'm really hoping that the Eagles frickin' throttle them like they did Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think that's actually going to be about the only way I'll enjoy it. I'm looking forward more to hanging out with a friend I haven't seen in a long time than I am actually watching the Super Bowl.
So I'm picking, of course, Philadelphia. I'm confident in that. I think, and this is, and again, everything you hear from us when it comes to feelings and thoughts are our opinions, sometimes verified and backed up by facts. But I think with anything you do that is about predictions or anything, it's going to be your opinion. My opinion is Philadelphia has the better team. Defense and offense. And I think that defense is going to win them the game.
Special teams, too.
I think they are going to, because they have the best, and it's been stated, they have the best front defensive line in the league. And I think they are going to hit, and they are going to sack Tom Brady into a state of confusion, and they're going to do, I would say, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, dude, they're going to do 2 pick sixes. And I put the game at 30-21 Philadelphia. I think Foles is going to show up, and I think Foles is going to show out when it comes to gunslinging. I think he will. I think his numbers will beat Tom Brady's, and I think that. And for me, it's the reason of they're the underdogs. You have all these big name celebrities, all these people.
Talked to him today.
All these people that are quote-unquote analysts who are saying that the Patriots are going to win due to the sure fact that they have the experience. I think that motivates the Philadelphia Eagles because that's why you see the dog mask. You can't buy a dog mask in a store anywhere in that area because they're the ultimate underdog. And Odd Sharks put Philadelphia at the loss of like a 4.8.
I haven't even looked at any of that.
So honestly, my personal opinion, I think Philadelphia, I don't think they're going to steamroll them. I think it'll be close for a little bit. And I think once that defense starts hitting Tom Brady is going to pull his usual panicking.
Well, that's how the Giants beat them twice.
Yeah.
It's the defense.
Yep.
Specifically the front four because, hey, crap, he started acting like there was ghosts around by the end of the game.
Well, we have all seen his accuracy.
And I think they're going to pick him off twice. I really do.
They don't have Edelman.
So,
in it might be a little bit different. But.
And I think they're going to create turnovers. I just think, kind of like last year with the Falcons, something's going to happen, and the Patriots will end up getting back into the game.
I think it's going to. I want to say, I really want to say, and I hope that it turns the way of the Viking game where they said, oh, the Vikings are going to stomp them. They're going to smoke them. They're going to roll into Philly and beat them down. What happened to that game? 38-7.
And also on the first
Peterson actually went back to Nick Foles' old playbook from his first year with Chip Kelly.
Oh, wow.
That's why he tore it up.
Yep. And, a lot of, RPOs.
RPOs?
Run pass options.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Which
the system he came out of.
Belichick already said that they're covering immensely this week. So I say don't rely on RPOs all the time like they did against the Vikings. Don't go completely away from it. But they got to remember they're not playing with a guy who has been in coaching the league for a couple years. This guy's been. We all can agree we don't like him, but he is a smart guy.
Got respect for him.
I mean, it's like
because I'm afraid I don't like him, but I got respect for him.
They said they practiced that same play against Seattle and they got the interception and won.
Yeah.
Because they knew they were going to run that play.
I'm interested to see, just because he is a Andy Reid disciple, Peterson. He's been with Andy Reid since he was a player, then a coach. I'm glad he's got the Eagles to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I'm really interested to see how much of that actually rubs off. Like I said, like I've been saying for years, Andy Reid is the new Marty Ball. So I'm hoping that Peterson does not follow suit there.
Yeah, that scares me. Yeah.
That really, yeah.
I'm hoping the Vikings game was the showmanship for him not being a Reed, the next Reed, because he didn't let off the throttle against the Vikings, and I think any coach that lets off against the Patriots is setting themselves up to lose.
Yep.
Because the Falcons game is a great one. They got up 27-3, and they decided they were going to coast it. They were going to win it.
28-3.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that controversy this week?
No.
I don't know why it's a controversy this week, because it happened earlier in the year, but I guess in the Patriots Super Bowl ring from last year, they've got 283 diamonds. Arthur Blank, the guy that owns the Falcons, finally decided to blow it up this week. It's like, because he recognizes it's because they went to the fourth quarter up 28-3 and then overtime and lost. And yeah, it's like, you know what? If you didn't, it's like you should have had your coaches not let off the pedal like they said they weren't going to whenever they went into halftime.
Yeah.
You guys would have throttled them.
With the Patriots, you cannot have turnovers, and you have to score on almost every drive. Doesn't matter how far behind they are. If you turn it over and you don't score on multiple drives, you're gonna lose.
And the second you start going, I hate the term prevent defense, even though that's what it is, because it doesn't prevent anything. The only thing it does is allows basically dink and dunk passes, so time gets eaten up. But they move the ball with chunks of yards, and eventually, more than not, end up with a touchdown. And that's kind of what they did in the second half, and then about halfway through the third quarter, they quit doing what they were doing offensively and stuck in their second running back and just started trying to run the clock out. They started playing to not lose instead of playing to win. It's like, it drives me nuts.
Yep. You're going to say something. I think that before I jump in.
Well,
so like when they played the Titans, the Patriots, weren't they losing to the Titans, or was it?
Oh, I think
they started losing and then they came back and thumped them.
Yeah. What was that, like 24-14 or something? I don't remember, but yeah, Jacksonville never should have.
Jacksonville should have had them.
Should not lost that game.
That's the game I'm thinking of, Jacksonville. Yeah, that's another great example with the Patriots where you have to score on almost every drive, and you can't turn it over because they let off the gas going into the third quarter.
They stopped doing what works.
And what happens? Second quarter comes around, or third quarter comes around. Patriots, boom, scoring drives.
And even if you've got an immaculate defensive line, halftime is where you need to switch it up too, because you might have gotten all that pressure just with those four guys, maybe sending a fifth guy. In the first half, Belichick is pretty much, I mean, he's intelligent as all get out. He's going to change up the offensive schemes for more protection. So it's like the defense needs to change it up too in the second half to keep the pressure on Brady. But yeah.
I think as long as they keep the pressure on Brady, it's going to be. As long as temper tantrum Tom doesn't come out, we're good. Once he starts crying on the sideline and on the field, then it's kind of you going, oh, it's like on a boss fight. When you see him give that one side, and you know that, oh crap, he's going to start throwing everything he has at me. And once you see Tom Brady kind of get emotional and start crying, better buckle down.
Brady's aggro.
Right?
So yeah, one thing I'm excited about next season too, though, is AFC West versus NFC West. But it blows my mind the NFL yet again stuck the Raiders with another game that's not in Oakland. They've got to go across the pond over to London against the Seahawks. That should have been the prime time to have them scheduled against the 49ers. Like, the 49ers, are a team on the rise. I think the Raiders are going to be bouncing back hard next year. It'll end up being a good game. But mainly because, 7 years ago, the Raiders used to play the Seahawks and a lot of times the Rams and 49ers a lot in the preseason. And the NFL put a stop to that because after one of the games, a bunch of Raiders fans beat the ever-living crap out of 49ers fans. A couple of them got stabbed. So it's like, you're wanting to avoid that violence. Like, should have stuck those two teams over across the pond. That would have guaranteed it. It's like, I bet there's going to be a big outbreak this year. Because I bet it's going to be a heated game. It's going to be heated games. Like,
I think
49ers are starting to turn it around.
Yeah.
I think Chucky brings a lot more out in that Oakland fan base and that black hole.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. With Gruden back, the fans are going to be
excited.
more
I'm
rabid
actually
this year.
trying to watch some games too. I was not happy. I think I got to watch 3 games this year. Oh, they lost all 3. I was ticked.
When is the NFL Combine?
April. I can't remember.
So I'm not sure.
Check.
Well, in the off season,
On my Raiders app, it says on there.
during the off season, this isn't going to be a weekly thing. It'll be I'll set it up. I'll let you guys know in advance when we're going to do shows. But once I think next season hits, it'll be a weekly thing because there'll be a lot more news going on. If there's any major news going on, I definitely will talk to the guys, have them come over, or have them come to the office, and we will update you on anything going on. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy the game tomorrow. I hope Philadelphia wins tomorrow.
I really hope they thump them.
And congratulations once again to all the award winners that were announced tonight, and of course the guys who made it into the Hall of Fame. And for the ones that didn't, man, it sucks. It does. It really does. There's a lot more people who deserve to get it. I don't like the fact that they only do 8. I think it should be a higher count because there are a lot of high quality players who deserve to get in who are getting passed up because Terrell Owens will throw a fit. Randy Moss will throw a fit. So they want to put him in.
I remember that.
Well, he was a poison and venom in the locker room, but I didn't like him. But again, same thing with Brady. I mean, he had some remarkable numbers.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to argue that if you just look at the numbers. Like, if you just took his numbers up and showed them to somebody and covered his name, they would probably say, yeah, that guy should probably be in. He was a poison in the locker room and on the teams, but yeah.
So
I think what they need to do is bump up the amount of what do they call them, senior finalists. I think after like 20 or 25 years, you don't get nominated. There's a special way to get in. They didn't bump that up. Maybe drop a couple of the regulars off because that's still freaking bugging me. Who was that Raiders quarterback?
Before we go, I also want to do one more poll, guys. You ready for one more?
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger, biggest drama queen in the NFL, says he's not going to retire this offseason. I say he's going to retire for the drama factor. What do you think?
I see he has 2 years left. About 2 years.
I think he's got a couple years. Maybe he's been working with Brett Favre in the offseason.
Every time I see those commercials.
Maybe that's why he's doing that.
Every time I see those commercials for that freaking copper fit performance, and I see Brett Favre.
Kind of scares you.
And he says, I can play again. And I'm going, no!
You know what, though? I bet if you stuck him behind a good line, he'd be better still right now.
I don't want him back.
than several starting quarterbacks in this league. Unfortunately,
I love Brett Favre personally.
but
I
he
liked
needs
him.
to stay retired.
But when he
He
played
really
for the
does.
Jets and he pulled that crap against Miami, oh, my arm is out of socket. Here's a 50-yard pass. Oh, I can barely move my arm.
That guy was tough.
100-yard pass.
I watched the documentary
Oh,
on him
man.
from the NFL Network. I
Yeah,
don't know. Was it the Timeline or?
was always voted.
But there, I mean, that guy was tough as nails.
He
Yeah,
was
his
around
character,
when
too.
quarterbacks had
Yeah.
to be men.
Mhm.
Today, quarterbacks don't have to be men.
No.
You touch them with your pinky right when they get rid of the ball,
Well,
you
it's
get
like-
penalized.
Tom Brady anymore. The refs are helping him get up off his butt anytime somebody.
And they're patting him on the back for touchdowns.
Yeah, and celebrating with them after they won the game, and
Brady does have his
in a few minutes.
promotion pants on.
But yeah, it's Jimmy Christmas. Like the guy starts crying, and it's like, oh, we better flag it to make him happy. Stop the tears, though, Brady.
up at our house at 1 o'clock in the morning.
What was it? 2 years ago, like I like Rodgers, like the Packers, but that tackle where the pinky like hit his helmet, so he fakes the turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that
they
was
did the face
against the
mask.
Lions.
Yeah, and then everyone sees
That
doesn't
was
even touch him.
bull crap. Yeah.
Doesn't even touch him.
Even at the time when it happened, the announcers were like, "Oh my god, that was a horrible face mask," and they slowed it down. And they're like, "He didn't touch him."
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, "That's the Academy Award winner right there. Put him
Yeah.
on stage."
I was just talking with somebody yesterday about flopping going on in the NFL. I forgot about that.
That was
Punters and kickers and
horrendous.
quarterbacks. I mean, those are your big three positions that do it in the NFL.
They could be soccer players.
And
For people who don't understand that reference, that happens in soccer all the time.
Yeah.
Where they fall down on purpose to get penalties.
Those guys are tough as nails, though.
We were-
I've seen some.
Oh, we were
Major
talking
league
about who was it? Keekly, right?
Luke
For
Kuechly
Panthers.
from Panthers.
He won best sportsmanship of the year. And then I made the joke about Matt saying, "Wow, I bet there wasn't a lot of candidates for that this year." Looking at all the fights going on, and I told you we were talking about,
I heard J.J. Watt won.
Walt,
The Walter Payton, right?
Yeah. Which I thought that was immaculate. I mean,
Yeah.
I think within a matter of a week or 2 weeks, he had like $7 million raised.
The total was like
And-
37 million.
Yeah, I never did hear the final. And I know he chipped in like 2, I think, to get it started. Maybe
Well,
3.
he
but-
personally sat down and decided where the money went
Yeah,
during the
which is
NFL
good.
season, and he helped clean up, like in person.
I really,
Said
you know,
yeah. But I mean,
the
I heard
last
about the
2
nominees.
injury-plagued seasons, like I hope he can bounce back, but I don't know.
I heard about all the cool thing about that award pack, those people, and especially as of lately, you hear all the negative, all the domestic violences, all the bad publicity the NFL gets. And they rarely show the light of all the good that these players do until it gets to the time for the award ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
There was so many people who have set up their own funds for different organizations
Oh yeah.
and donate their own hard. Like the guy from Philadelphia, who was it? Long donated,
Chris
I
Long.
think, one of his entire checks to help cover. I think it was I want to say to pay. I think it was for teachers
I think it's right.
for teachers in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
So he donated his hard-earned money because that position he plays, believe it or not, people, is hard-earned money.
Oh, that's everyone says being in the trenches is the toughest in the NFL. It's offensive and defensive line. So
And he's not the only one in Philadelphia. I know there's another guy in Philadelphia who donated one check, one paycheck to help out a cause. You know, you don't hear about it because you know what? It's not negative, and it's not going to get people to go, "Oh my God," and gossip about it for a month. But you know, that's the news media. That's how everybody is today. If it's not something that's going to make somebody look bad, don't talk about it. All right, guys. So unless there's anything major that happens in the NFL with any firings, any hirings, any trades, any coach changes, we won't be back until about the combine time. And at that point in time, we will all, I think, have done our homework on who's going into the combine, who's going into the draft. We're also going to sit down and during the draft, we're going to do. What do you guys feel about doing a mock draft?
What's that?
And it'll be a couple months away, so we can. We're not going to do like a full draft.
I think the combine is
We're gonna do
in
top mock.
March, and the draft is at the end of April. I think I got that wrong, if I remember correctly.
We
It's
could,
the end of April.
I just don't watch college enough to do.
I don't either. So I'm just going to go with like stats and things I do know. But until that time comes, guys, thank you for joining. If you liked the video, you thought it was at least entertaining, if not funny, because I think it was funny. Go ahead, hit the like button. Also, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. This will be back, like I said, for the combine and the draft, and we'll pick up more heavily during the 2018 season. And I'm Dustin D-Blaze84, joined with Clint Folsom and Mr. Happy Hogan right here.
What did you call me?
And not you, Mr. Happy Hogan. And of course,
Happy Hogan.
our special guest, Miss Madison Marie Ray Folsom.
Did you have to say
is
my full name?
Mighty Morphin Madison.
No!
It's on the internet now forever.
No!
Careful.
I will brush your thumbs down.
Real quick, who do you want to win? The New England Patriots or the Philadelphia Eagles?
Eagles.
Eagles.
You heard it there, Maddie picked. It's going to be the Eagles all the way. All right, guys. We love you. We will be back with NFL Corner in March. So
March 4th.
unless something major comes up, which we'll keep an eye on it, and we will see you guys then. Happy Super Bowl day, I guess, if you want to call it. Eat a lot of chicken wings. If you're going to drink, don't drive. Have somebody take you home. Get a cab. Get an Uber. Be safe.
A lot of times cabs are free or very extremely discounted for Super Bowl.
And there are a lot of programs to help out, guys. Don't drink and drive. Don't be a statistic, and don't.
Daddy
Don't
has,
work
a bar. A lot of bars
me and
pay for
Daddy
cabs
have
these days, too.
furry birdies.
All right, guys. We love you. We'll be back at a later date.